Hey everyone, welcome and thanks for joining us at Southwire Solutions University today. I'm Johnny.Sellers and with me is
Bill.Fowler.
And today we're going to talk about a subject which is near and dear to all of us, safety. Safety on wire pulls. How do we become much more safe and prevent injuries when we're doing these wire pulls where we've got ropes under tension and we've got wire pullers, like our 10K tugger we have set up here. When you're pulling wire, that rope again is under that heavy tension and accidents can happen. So let's say that Bill here is 300 feet away and he's in an electrical room. He's way down in an electrical room somewhere on a job site and I'm in the maybe switchgear room or wherever I'm at and I'm running the wire puller over here, okay? So if Bill is at the reel and something happens, the wire gets tangled up or a hazard appears, somebody comes in the room or maybe he gets his gloves or his fingers caught in the wire going into that pipe. What does he do? Well, he's going to grab his phone, he's going to panic and grab his phone and go, stop. And I'm going to be down here, I'm going to get my phone going, what? And by the time I get over here and turn the puller off, Bill's already had something going, he's hurt. He's got his finger sucked in the pipe and he's missing a finger and he's probably saying some choice words to me on the phone about what happened. So it's very dangerous. Well, we've got a way to prevent that and this is something that we feel every wire pull that you're on, you should do. And this is our Southwire triggers. So we're not going to go too much into the features and benefits, but we really want to show you why this is important to you, where and how you would use it on a job site to be safe. Okay, so very simple. These are foot switches. I've got one and Bill's got one, okay? It's like a dead man switch if you heard that term. For the puller to run, both pedals have to be down. If either person removes their foot off that pedal, instantly that wire puller stops, okay? So that's the premise. It's you may have heard it called a dead man switch. So I've got the master unit. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn my master unit on.
And I've already got mine on over here.
Yep, Bill's got his unit on. So it starts looking for the other unit. And green light came on, it found it. So it knows wirelessly that it's communicating. So if I press the trigger, we got a blue light comes on, says we're linked. It means that these two devices now are together, they know each other, and they're communicating. Okay, so
and I get an indicator on my end that he's linked, and then I know we're talking. So
exactly
that's
right.
The great thing about these switches. You can know what's going on the other end without having to call and ask.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna pretend Bill is headed off down to he's 300 feet away at his electrical room, and so what's going to happen is this. I'm going to be here at the wire puller, and when I get ready, I get my rope ready, I'm ready to go. I don't have to get on the phone and yell at Bill and say, "Hey man, what you waiting on?" When I step on my trigger,
see, my ready light comes on.
His ready light comes on. He knows that I'm ready. So when he gets ready, he steps on his trigger. And the wire puller runs. As you can see, the puller runs. So we're going to show you what happens if we start to pull, we're both ready, and we see the lights on and we start to pull, and we're going to pretend like Bill had a problem down on his end. Okay, so I can see that he's ready. So okay, I've got my puller ready. So he did not have to talk to him. He's ready. So let's start the puller. So you see that fast, the pull stopped. The pull stopped, and we prevented Bill from getting hurt on the other end of the pull. So that's really the magic of these triggers. Okay, it prevents you from getting hurt. It lets the guy at the wire end be in control of the pull. Because if you think about it on the puller end, really once you get set up and everything's going, all you're doing is taking the rope off the capstan as the pull is happening. Generally, that's not where you're going to have a problem. You might have a rope cross up or something like that, but generally the problem is going to happen down at the feed end where that reel of wire is. So makes it very, very safe. All right. One other piece to the puzzle here is we have devices that communicate with their triggers. These are two functions. Well, primarily two functions. One, they operate as an emergency stop. And again, they communicate wirelessly. So let's say that Bill's way down at electrical room and we have a manhole somewhere in between or a pull box, we can station someone at that box just to kind of monitor what goes on. And if there's anything happens, that person can stop the pull with this remote switch. So I'm going to turn this on. And again, it's going to look and it's going to find.
I have to reset it.
Well, that's reset. That's okay. We won't worry about it.
So let's show you, this is a really good thing. So let's do this because what this will do, it recognizes the number of units.
We're good. Link.
Did it link? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Well, whenever he got the green light, if you know you got 3 units out there, you should get 3 separate lights or 2 units, whatever. So that way you can count and know that they're communicating and when you link them up. That's right. A really good function of that. I like that.
So it's emergency stop. And the other thing it does for you, these are wireless. And like any wireless device, if I'm out line of sight, we're probably a mile distance, these things will communicate. If you're in a building, if you're in a manhole and you got concrete that you're going through, these things will also operate as a repeater. And it has a signal strength on it. So as you walk through the building, you can watch the signal strength just like your phone, and you'll know when it's time to hang one of these on the wall to make sure you got signal. Most cases, you don't need them, right? So that's how these work. It's an e-stop that you can have 2 or 3 of these if you're doing cable tray and you want to have a couple of folks holding these positioned at key points just to monitor as the head comes around a turn to make sure nothing gets hung up. You can do that. And by the way, if this person in the middle stops the pull, that's the only person that can restart it. Bill or I wouldn't be able to restart it. Okay, so it's got a lot of safety built in it.
Cool thing about that too, you have 5 of them, but if somebody stops with that unit, we actually get a flashing light on our end, knowing it's a handheld that stopped it. It wasn't me or Johnny. So that's another little cool feature is it's built into these that somebody who stops it, especially handheld, you know it was a handheld. Now you're going, what's going wrong out there on a pull box or whatever. So really cool features to these things.
So that's the main point to these things is the safety. Now they do a lot of other things for you. One in particular, when you get on a job site and you've got temporary power and you've got cords plugged in, you can get under voltage. As the load goes up on these motors, the voltage drop can happen. And there's sensing built in here that will prevent you from burning up your motor. If it senses the voltage going down below a certain point, it's going to trip out and notify you that, hey, you need to use a bigger extension cord or you need to do something to keep your voltage up as you're running the machine. So that in a nutshell is it. And the main point that Bill and I wanted to convey to everybody here, if you're a safety director at your company or if you're in the field and you're in sales, be aware of these because this is one of the best safety devices that we have in our industry to keep people from getting hurt on these wire pulls. So we would encourage you to get these. They plug in, they plug into any 110 volt tugger you have, whatever pull you have, you plug it in and these triggers will work.
So one thing I'd like to point out too real quick is that I really don't do this enough, is that you'll notice right here too, these are kind of like water splash proof. These switches right here are encased, so you don't get the water or muck build up in here for them to stick. So that's another really cool feature about this is these things do get dirty on the job. These switches right here really won't stick and get hung. So when you do release off, they're not, staying to operate. So that's another cool design change they did on the last go around on these things. So really, again, they're very built safely and have some really cool features all the way down to this, like the little things, those little switches. So yeah, that's good.
And it's really generation 2.
It is. This is generation 2.
And the technology behind the communication is very solid on these, and you won't have any trouble with them. You shouldn't have any trouble at all with them. So, all right, that's kind of what we want to convey to you today. If you don't have these, we encourage you on these job sites to get them. There's a case that comes in. It's got everything you need to keep it charged up. It's really easy to move it around and get it where you need to go. So that's our Southwire triggers. So at this point, let's stop here and let's see if anyone on the call has any questions.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm looking at the chat window and I'm also looking at the comments, and I do not see any questions at this time.
All right, great. Well, if you have any questions, get in touch with either someone at Southwire, get in touch with your local distributor or agent. And if you want to know more about these or know where you can get them, get in touch with them and we'll be glad to help you out. Also, stay tuned for our future events. Be looking on our YouTube channel and other places. We're going to have quite a few things coming up around safety and around productivity on job sites.
Yep.
So that said, we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.